This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow, and with me is James, the Superman of Red. Cole. What's up, James?
That was intense. James.
James.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, good. That's what I like to hear. There is nothing better. So, happy belated Superman Day. We are recording this on the day after Superman Day. It'll come out a little bit later just because of how things work out. But happy belated Superman Day, Mr. Cole.
Happy Superman Day to you, Tyler. Went to the comic shop and picked up the summer special. And I think I'm going to stop back by the comic shop and get a facsimile of Action #1.
Nice. It's just
it's a facsimile and it's on newsprint. You know, yeah.
I love years ago. Phil said, if they want to keep the cost of comics down, go back to printing them on newspaper, and it would actually increase their value again because newspaper deteriorates and everything. So, and I was like, man, you know what? He's completely right, because as much as I love, comics and everything,
it was nice. I've been reading so long on the app and only trades. It was kind of nice to have an issue in my hand, though, with the Superman.
No, I hope this.
The Summer of Superman special.
I know.
It's been a little while since I've held just an issue.
I bought it. I just won't get it for a while because my shop is like an hour away, and I'm going there for free comic book day. So I bought it, and I'll just pick it up then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I bought it's on the app, but I bought the, what do you call it? The Last Days of Lex Luthor Volume 2. So,
okay.
Yeah. But, all right. Laura, what is up?
She's painting her mom's nails, and she's happy.
Oh, I'm about to say, did she have a good Superman day?
Yes, she watched League of Super Pets.
That's a good one. It's a great one to watch.
Twice. Kind of picked up where it was. So it was like the last half hour, and then she's like, "Watch it again." Sure. She was out in 20 minutes, so we changed it after that. But
that's awesome. We did a Superman like crossword puzzle, and it was Jania is amazing at these things. She had hers done, and me and the kids had to finish ours today. We're working on a 1,000-piece Thomas Kincaid Superman vs. Doomsday puzzle.
Ooh, awesome. I want to see a picture of that when it's done.
So we're working on that. Jania is amazing at puzzles. I mean, if you're not picking it up, Jania is just amazing, period. But we did that, and then I recorded a special podcast with Michael Bailey that'll be out like in June. So it's always interesting when you're recording and like it's like, yeah, it won't be out for a while. It's like
right.
So yeah, it was pretty good. Like I wore my like everything I had on was Superman except my pants. So I was decked out. and Superman yesterday, and the kids.
Well, you said you had the red jeans, so you even still had the Superboy.
Yeah, I look at it
going on.
I looked at it as like just an extension, of the trunks. So, and then I posted like a video on our TikTok. Yes, I said TikTok. One of those things like I just never really get into, but why isn't man? It's being a pain. But it's Sayla pumping gas with her Superman cape on, and it's just blowing in the wind hardcore as she's pumping gas.
Yeah,
awesome. Because it was so windy yesterday.
It was.
And yeah, so just for comparison, we have 3 comments on this. Okay, it's just Sayla pumping gas. Okay, and I'm still learning how TikTok works. But before I posted this video of Sayla, okay, I've posted a few things in the past. We've had some things like I don't know what this one is. Hold on, from September 30th. What is this? A Batman like promo for our Batman Day special. We had 1,970 views. Okay, but other than that, that was a fluke. Okay, our next largest view count for our TikTok was 607, and that was about our Superman on TV. Okay, our post of Sayla yesterday, 2,143. So, yay, Sayla.
That's really awesome. That's nice.
I'm trying to figure out how to read the comments here. Like, the thing I don't like about TikTok and why I'm like, it's just because it's constantly playing. It says, having your cape actually billow in the wind is fire. Yeah, Sayla got some cool stuff going on, but I just thought that was awesome.
I might have to go follow that one.
I try to put stuff on there for us, but all right. So that was neat. And then like I said, it was Superman Day yesterday, so there was so much stuff that came out. Oh my god! Like I decided to make a PowerPoint. So, let me do our.
All right. Well, the way to keep us on track.
I was like, yeah, because there's no way I could just pull up all those individual images. So I was like last night, I was like, I'm just gonna make a PowerPoint for Superman Day. So here it is. First, we have my Superman Day look up hashtag Sayla, because she was outside looking up. But all right. So the first thing, and these are no particular order of like when they were released or anything. I just kind of mixed it up. The DC Showcase podcast, the official podcast of DC Studios, released an episode. Look up, it's Superman Day. I have not listened to it yet because I was really busy at work during the day yesterday.
Yeah.
And there was a special sticker that you can get on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat of like this Funko looking Superman. So there is that. I have not been a huge fan of the hosts of this DC Studio Showcase podcast. So I
don't seem to have much time listening to it. I was thinking the other day, actually yesterday, when I was swiping through some Superman Day on Max, they have the video there. So, actually getting to see the hosts and see them talking with who they are talking with. However, whether it's in studio or what, I think would be a little more another way to view it, another way to listen to it, because we do like interview shows and stuff, and I mean that's basically what that is. It's just the audio that they put on the podcast. So
I did see it's on YouTube. I might watch the YouTube version. An all-star offer, 52% off the first month of DC Universe Infinite. Okay. Now I had to think to myself, 52% off the first month but an Ultra is billed yearly, so it's not Ultra. It's just DC. So that's like $7.99. That's $8. So it's like $4 for 1 month of DC Universe. It's the price of one comic book. I mean, it's worth it.
You can read quite a few issues in 1 month for that price.
Yes, I must say you can. I mean, knock that junk out. When I first got my Ultra subscription back, because I told you how much it was, I kept track of how many books I read and what the cost of those books would be, and like, yeah, I knocked out like the price within like.
Oh yeah, from I think when Ultra came out and I paid the year in full, that first like October, November, December before the new year, I think I read over $400 worth of comics.
Yeah, I'm like, there's the books. Here's the books I would buy, and then here's just stuff I'm reading. So, Legendary.
I have not been able to match that pace, but I did it.
Legendary released Godzilla Superman facing off again in the exciting crossover sequel, Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong 2. It says pre-order at your local comic shop today. And we see kind of the cover. So that's pretty sweet. Solomon and I enjoyed that last year. So we got that.
Yeah, I got that for Jimmy for his birthday. I got the hardcover trade for him. He loved it.
Superman Day's little page here on Max. It says celebrate strength, kindness, and hope for a better tomorrow. The little launch, if you click DC on Max yesterday, I thought that was pretty awesome. I like seeing the synergy. Let's jump over here to 90% off Warner Brother Games. It says Warner Brothers Games is celebrating Superman Day with great savings on Injustice, Gods Among Us, and Injustice 2 on Steam. So not even like a digital game platform. 90% off games that have been out for years. How about you announce a new Superman game?
For real.
To impress us, Warner Brothers home game system. How about you say there's a new Superman video game? That would make everyone lose their junk. Okay, now getting into some toys.
Speaking of games, real quick, hold on before you move on to toys. Speaking of games, real quick, I was just playing some of the DC Dark Legion game on my tablet earlier when we did some downtime. When we had a little downtime.
I have it downloaded. I need to play it.
You know, it's one of those places where you build up your base, you know, to develop your resources over time. It's fun. There's a lot of characters so far. I think they started with 52 characters available. So, and it's heroes and villains. You know, it's if you like those kind of games, it's definitely fun to have one on the DC platform. I know there's another one supposed to be coming out later this year called Worlds Collide. I think they've had the beta out like twice, and it's a little more along the lines of like Marvel Strike Force or Raid Legends or something like that in a way. But
that's pretty cool.
But that's that's what I got for gaming. I was just letting you know I was playing it. It was a little bit, you know, I was enjoying it, having some fun with Batman and Wonder Woman. I got Killer Croc and Black Adam and Lex Luthor. I got a couple of characters there. So
I need to get on it. But let's get into some toys.
I was thinking about jumping on to DC Universe.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
DC Universe Online.
I'm like, it's only been out forever. I probably should.
It's only been out forever, and it's cross-platform. We need to get on that and play a little bit.
We do. Here are the Superpower McFarlane figures for Superman 2025. We have Superman, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and Green Lantern Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Getting more of a full look to a Metamorpho now.
Oh, yeah. We'll get there.
Oh, yeah. We'll get there.
But also, there is a Fortress of Solitude play set.
Ooh, nice.
I know. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I want to get the Superman superpower. It looks good.
That cape though.
It's like it's probably the same figure I already have. It's just now painted to go with the new thing. Like it's not even a different mold. Like it's just
right.
But they're just like, we'll get some bastard to buy it again. Here's some random Superman Day merch stuff. That was the S symbol wall light and Daily Planet themed box releasing as part of Superman merch. The
They've
wall
got
light
Superman Uno. That's awesome.
Yes, I want Superman Uno because I like to have
Boy, it won't work.
different Uno card decks. And like right now at work, I have my Super Pets Uno that I keep in my bag at work. So when I have kids in my office or whatever, I go and visit them. We can play Uno, but I would love to have just another full deck of Uno because we love to play Uno. I think currently we have right now Harry Potter, Ted Lasso, Batman, and The Office. And out of all of them, The Office is best just because of Kevin's chili pot.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I'd love to have this kryptonite, or not kryptonite, this like crystal krypton light right here.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool for my desk at work. Funko. We got our release, and look at our Funko Pops. We got 2 Superman Funko Pops, a Crypto, a Lex Luthor, and a Lois Lane. I pre-ordered the Superman. Thank you, Amazon. But yeah.
No, it's a toy.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. They look good. That the suit's really growing in popularity, I think, over time, and it's nice it's really cool to see this Crypto being like in the design from the movie, that breed of dog and everything, the fluffiness of his fur.
It's just one of those what do you call it? You're saying the costumes grow on people because we're seeing it more. We're seeing it in action. And speaking of action and more, here are the variant covers. There's one I had, but I didn't realize I didn't put on here. It has Superman holding Lois. The movie variant covers for the books that come out in July.
Yeah, and like I said, this suit, they always look. Sometimes they look better in art form.
I like this suit,
especially beyond the behind the scenes shots that we always get to see. That people always complain about.
I want the Dan Mora right here of like the Action Comics one. But to me, the suit looks good because it looks like he's wearing a suit and not tights. And the trunks look better because they look more like trunk shorts, kind of like the Brandon Routh, what do you call it? Kingdom Come style, and more in the lines with the All-Star style trunks.
For sure.
Than just the regular briefs. So, and we'll see that here soon. But look at this. The Kaiju Slime Battle toy comes with Superman and the Kaiju that has slime, and then the Imaginext version. And for little preschoolers and stuff, Imaginext toys, man, I love them. They're so great. They are just impressive toys.
Yeah, and I love that they have a DC line with that.
But it's our first, look at some of the toys. I kind of am upset we didn't see more of the toys released, like photos and stuff, as far as non-McFarlane stuff. This is the only one I saw.
Okay.
And then we got a special sneak peek little thing from James Gunn, and here are some images from it. The Superman and Lex here, people were talking about the hair. Some people are like, oh, maybe it was a camera test. Could be. Still just a good look. the two shots of David here holding something above his head.
Holding something heavy.
It really lets you see the trunks, and like I said, how they look more like short trunks than just briefs.
Yeah.
Um,
that scene with Lex, he was talking to him. He said, "I'm wearing my trunks on the outside." It's very liberating. It was a funny quote from the video.
It's
This is all behind the scenes,
Yeah, it's not any shots of the film it's just behind the scenes stuff. That's like we saw Metamorpho here. Looks like he's going to be a mixture of practical and CG.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do think
I wasn't expecting it so practical, but it makes sense. James Gunn does a lot of that.
Like he's wearing like gym shorts. I think it's kind of neat. Here's Lex with something. People are theorizing it could be a white Martian. I'm wondering if it's torturing Metamorpho or something. I don't know. It's behind the scenes, so you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
People are theorizing that this might be Lex in his battle suit over here.
Yep.
Sure. Okay. Like I'm not going to hop on it, but I'm not discounting it,
There's also one that you don't have on this image here where there's a lot of people. There's a whole squadron of people in green and purple suits, and they have LX on them.
Yep. Like troopers.
So, yeah, like troopers. So, that'd be very interesting too. I love that they've got the color scheme, the green and the purple.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fantastic.
So the next little thing here, there is My Adventures with Superman t-shirts and sweatshirt merch at Hot Topic.
Oh, nice.
So tell me why I would have loved if they would have released a figure of this show or something, but the fact that there's a t-shirt makes me happy. Because this is one of the best things that's come out in a while, and it's a bummer that they don't have anything more for it. And now to the McFarlane. There is the Superman. There are two Superman McFarlanes. There is the deluxe version that comes with Krypto. Then there's the regular version here. They teased us with the look up poster. But with the McFarlane figure. These went on sale and were sold out very fast.
Oh, man. Of course they were.
I mean, it was ridiculous. By the time I hit it, it was like unavailable. It was very disheartening. And then I went to GameStop to pre-order this one. Because it was still available to pre-order on GameStop's website. You can pre-order it now and have it shipped to home, but you got to pay for the full price when I pre-order stuff.
Right.
At GameStop, you can just put the $5 down in store, but they wouldn't let it be pre-ordered for in store. It was only online. And then here's the other McFarlanes: a Lex Luthor, a Mr. Terrific
with his T-spheres.
Metamorpho here with like gray shorts, which is interesting because earlier it looked like he was wearing white with black stripe shorts in the photo back here.
Yeah.
Kind of like the color scheme of the, what do you call it? Of the Lord Tech stuff. And then the Kaiju, which the Kaiju is not bad, but the eyes make it look goofy.
Right. I hadn't seen the image of the Kaiju, so
this is our.
I wonder if that's just going to be a mega fig, or is that going to be
it's a mega fig,
Godzilla fig, like the size of Kong.
It's just a mega fig. It's just interesting because this is our third toy look at the Kaiju, and the eyes just make it look goofy.
Yeah.
But then we have this statue, and I want this statue.
Yeah, that's a good looking statue.
So I will be on the hunt for this. I'm still mad at myself for not buying the Batman, the Batman statue from McFarlane.
Oh yeah.
So, but I want this one. So
yeah, I want that as well.
And then I guess this is the Build-A-Figure, the number 4 robot, because over here we see the line is 2 Supermans, the Kaiju, Metamorpho, but so is, like I said, Lex is in there. But we have this number 4 coming out. But it doesn't say build a figure for it, so it's weird. But they're promoting this, and we didn't see it go on sale yesterday. From McFarlane.
Yeah, it's either a build a figure or a
No, stop going. Blasted.
it's either a big build a fig or they just released that single image. I don't know.
So I blew it up because what's missing here?
I mean, Lex is not in the
Right, but there's no Guy Gardner. Because I was gonna buy it for Solomon to mess with him. Like I was gonna buy it for Solomon because the haircut. I mess with him. But I just be honest. I don't want Metamorpho. But if Guy Gardner was there, I would have buy him.
Right. I mean, I understand the deluxe with crypto and everything, but you could have made a Guy Gardner figure instead, or a Guy Gardner figure instead of the robot.
I think the robot should have been a Build-A-Figure. Guy Gardner should be in this line. The deluxe should be like its own separate thing. So you have Superman and
Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and Lex.
And like right here in this grouping, they don't have Mr. Terrific either. So
or Mr. Terrific, yeah.
So here's an image for the tease of the NECA Superman figure.
Ooh, that's detailed. I like that.
I know. And then the last slide, boom. It's about time for Halloween, man.
Awesome.
The look of the new Superman Halloween costumes.
Honey, I'm getting a new Halloween costume of Superman this year.
I mean, they look pretty good. Like that Guy Gardner one looks pretty good. The Superman actually looks good. And there's the kid versions. So I'm going to get the Superman for Sayla and the Guy Gardner for Solomon. And he'll yell at me. But that's all I have in my PowerPoint. Like that's what I pretty much discovered through all the stuff that was being posted yesterday. And then some of it came out today, like the Halloween costume and everything. Like those came out today, and I feel like there was something else. Hold on, was there something? Because I remember having to update this thing a couple of times, so I feel like there was something else that came out. Let me just double check, and maybe I just didn't save, or that was it. Maybe that was it. One thing, I didn't put on here. There's a prequel junior novel that's being released. Called Welcome to Metropolis. It's set before the events of Superman. The book explores Clark Kent's arrival in Metropolis and sets up key elements of the film. The novel will be released ahead of the movie's theatrical debut. It'll be released on June 3rd. It's geared towards damn it. Phone. It's 144 pages. Like I said, it's a junior novel.
Nice. That's a quick read.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it because I figure I'll read it and then Solomon will read it and everything. Let's just kind of they did the Batman junior novel, and that was okay. So I hope it's better than the Batman one.
No, yeah. It's tough to say. I mean, that's clearly dependent on the writer, and then the world of the Batman versus this world of Metropolis.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. It's nice. It's funny. Not funny. It's cool to see that they're coming out with a junior novel like that, like set before like his early time coming to Metropolis, because we find out that since they've made the movie and now it's come out that it's more he's still pretty new on the scene, but not like unknown, it's not, he's been Superman, he's doing his thing, couple couple of years in maybe, and like they said, finding some allies in the superhero community, that kind of thing, some friends. So, to be able to have a little bit more before what we see, just going to expand the story. It's very cool.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's everything there. So, yeehaw! That is the Superman Day items. Now, is there anything else? Just double checking here. All right, we can get into the next phase. We are kicking off season 3 of Superboy. Season 3, the only 2 returning characters are Gerard Christopher as Clark Kent Superboy and what do you call it? Lana Lee. Oh, there is one thing. Did you see this little video? I'm gonna show. Hold on. I knew there was something else. Hold on. Ooh, I can do this easily. Okay. Did you see this little video? Watch this. Can you hear it?
I cannot hear it. I did watch this. Yeah, I did watch this. So, but no, I can't hear it.
That's cool. But like we're seeing I love it because it shows like people, like regular people, and it's like Superman Day, and it shows like Steve Urkel, like if anyone ever remembers that, as Superman. Little comment from Shaq. We see
see Sloth from the Goonies, Joey from Friends,
and it's like that's really cool. I wish the narrator was a little stronger. He just seems kind of weak, and the music behind it I wish was a little bit more of like just the what do you call it, Superman music than what they have. So, but I thought it was really cool, like just talking about the Superman symbol and everything. I'm like, all right, well done here. I wish we would get another what do you call it, like the 75 year we got the cartoon, we didn't get anything for the 80 or 85, but it's okay. Oh, I see what do you call it here? Hold on, give me a second here. I always like to see if there's any news and stuff I missed. Someone just put up the official costumes Ruby's reveal. So it's like title cards looking things for the costumes. But yeah. Just so you know, James, it's 194 days till Halloween. So just so you know.
Ooh, lovely.
Because I pulled up the link here, see if we can see anything when the Ruby costumes go on sale. But so like I was saying, we started Superboy season 3. We got the first couple. We did the first 3 episodes. Now the first 2 is a 2-parter, and there was something else. Why didn't it save? See, I told you, man. Like I knew something else was missing, and I built it in there. Hold on. I bet it didn't, because I had to do a different version. I bet it didn't save. Anyways, you're like, whatever, Tyler. We'll never get to Superboy.
No, I've got Laura over here crying. I've kind of got it on mute here while you're searching your stuff. Otherwise, you'd be hearing her whine and cry.
There were new posters that were released, like promotional posters, and there's one that I really liked. Was the Look Up poster, and I don't know why it didn't pull it. So, because I knew I had to make a different version, but I'm just seeing where the Superman Day one is. Yep, I don't see it on. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I'll give it a second to load, but anyways, so Superboy, yeah, season 3. This is where I feel that Gerard really comes into his own in the character, and this is where he starts to play basically a young Superman, because they're out of college and they're at the bureau, and it's such a like big change, like it's such a reset for the show, and the fact that they're like the bureau, it's like a precursor to the X-Files now.
Yeah, definitely, with all the supernatural threats and things like that.
He gives Clark a much better deserved look and style when we get to this. So I feel like season 3 is much stronger. And that's, as we talked about, from looking at Superboy, I liked John's Superboy and Clark, but this is not the one I clicked on. Why is that booting up? But I feel that Gerard really makes everything comes into his own here. So with Superboy. Yeah, we'll just have to do the posters later. I don't know why. But so the first one is The Bride of Bizarro, Part 1. Bizarro returns from deep space and enters into a deadly pact with Lex Luthor. Lex will create a bride for Bizarro in exchange for a supply of kryptonite, which can kill Superboy. And then Part 2, Bizarro falls deeper into Luthor's plot to kill Superboy in exchange for a bride. It's a very without falls deeper. That's really the description there. What did you think about these episodes?
I mean, this this version of Lex is wild. He's
still good. He's still
2.
good. Sherman Howard is so good. Like, he doesn't get enough credit, and like I can't help it though. Like, listen to him talk. He also did the voice of Derek Powers in Batman Beyond, and I'm such a big loved the first season of Batman Beyond that's what I hear when he's talking. But he does a good job, because we're in that post-crisis Lex, but we haven't really adapted that to TV yet. So it's still this weird version of Lex.
Yeah, still living underground, but money and smart technology. The way he's able to use the duplicate ray.
Yeah. He has his girl Darla with him. But this is the first episode after the series name change to The Adventures of Superboy. Yeah, it's worth pointing out as well.
The Adventures of Superboy with a whole new intro.
Yep. And raised by a Kansas family, he is Superboy.
Even though he's graduated from college and has a government federal job at the bureau, he is Superboy.
But I love the Superboy version of Bizarro though. It's my favorite Bizarro. Like, yeah, it looks a little cheesy, but it's the best looking version of Bizarro. Lex makes a copy of Darla first to be the bride of Bizarro, but it's very much like a bride of Frankenstein, because she screams and yells and turns to Lex. And then we find out that the Bizarros will blow up unless you use Bizarro kryptonite to stabilize them.
Right.
And so Bizarro Darla blows up, and Lex's big reveal is, I will find someone who's in love with Superboy and make a Bizarro version of her.
Yeah, so she'll be in love with Bizarro Superboy.
So of course we're like, oh, it's gonna be Lana.
It's gonna be Lana.
So in part 2 we get Bizarro Lana. But I did like just the joke of the talk show host, because it starts off where there's a talk show host, and it's one of those that Judy James Donatello is her name. Kind of like how there was Sally Jesse Raphael, you know, like, and I'm like, that's such a deep cut that no one's going to get, except us older people.
Yeah.
But they're having bizarre relationships, and that's when Bizarro shows up, and all he wants is someone to love. So it very much is a very Frankenstein, like Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, it is called the Bride of Bizarro, part 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's Bride of Bizarro. It's the Bride of Frankenstein, but
I could almost see them doing, like, they never did this, but doing like the Bizarro episode from the previous season. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 episodes, and then putting like those 2 and then these 2 like on a VHS and releasing the Superboy VHS movie of Bizarro.
yeah.
You know,
don't forget to mention the Bizarro pigeons in this in these episodes. They were
he was testing.
God. They were so fake,
and they were blowing up. So we have Bizarro, the Thing of Steel, and the battle with Bizarro. So yeah, you could do a 4 episode, 22 minutes each. That's 88 minutes for 4 episodes. A little, like, it's a nice little, like, short movie if you put them all in there together. We'll put all the kind of like how they did the Flash. They put the 2 episodes to make the Trickster special. But I found, like, just Bizarro, like the fact that kryptonite doesn't bother him and everything, just very powerful. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, it is a very high ranking episode. Let's see if I just hit top rated. It's
what's that? Top rated Superboy episodes?
Yeah, so if I go to top rated Superboy episodes, it comes in at number 9 and 10, part 1 and part 2.
Nice.
Thanks, Say. But the other Bizarro episodes are number 3. The Bizarro, the Thing of Steel, is the number 3rd highest. And yeah, so, and then the other ones we haven't got to because they're in this season and in season 4. So, like, one of the best episodes, the 2 highest ranked Superboy episodes are coming up in our next little run of episodes we're going to be watching.
That's really cool. I look forward to that.
So yeah, but Bizarro, like, he spoke backwards, but not enough that you couldn't follow his logic.
Yeah, and it was hardly backwards.
Me am Bizarro. Me want someone to love. Like, okay,
yeah.
So it was like
it's just like broken, but not reverse speech.
Yep. It was me am instead of like me want me hate someone hate Bizarro. We were like, what?
Yeah, Bizarro wants someone to hate.
And you're just like, son of a bitch. I've expressed my distaste for reading Bizarro stuff so much.
Oh man. Oh, I would love to have a full-on episode or series with somebody voicing Bizarro in that manner.
I want someone who wrote Bizarro
just so it could be all of that, but actually said instead of like, because it's so hard to read.
Yep.
But
I want one of these writers like Grant Morrison or someone who actually has written all this Bizarro stuff. You're the one that's going to read it now. So
right,
I'm
like an audiobook format. You
Yeah.
read it.
yeah, hey Crit. Yeah, we want you to come in and now read your audiobook of Bizarro. But yeah. So ta-da.
Back up the Brinks truck.
So anyways, I really liked it. It was good. And then it's followed up by The Lair. Superboy is lured into a deadly danger, and to survive, he must avoid the lair. This one was definitely a dip.
Yeah, I can't even remember much from this episode.
I just remember that it was one of those. Lana's at the bureau. Her and Clark are both interns. We learned that in the last episode. They just got there. Like Clark was already there for a few months, but she's just starting at the bureau right as it kicks off. And what do you call it? She wants to be part of it, so she goes out, and it's just a mess. And another agent's with her, and like these group of people take him to torture him. There's like a creature out there that they have. It was bizarre, not to be a pun, but the last episode, but
yeah.
It just didn't quite stick with you the way it should.
No, I like I said, I have a hard time recalling much from this episode. I usually feel like I gotta watch it again just before we do our next one.
I usually take notes when I watch them, but I didn't because I just had a lot going on. But all right, now we're going to transition. We're going to talk about covers, but I got one more thing to talk about before we go into our covers. I've heard like people complaining because that's what people like to do. And it's very interesting because they're saying, the new Superman, it looks like this, like the same cinematographer of The Flash. And well, I'm just going to say this, his cinematography in this looks better, but he also did Guardians. And, the thing that happens is you have a director that works with a team, basically. James Gunn, when he came over and he's going to do Superman, he's importing his team. He's got his cinematographer he's worked with on his past couple of films, his costumer, his composer. And it happens sometimes. I mean, that's part of why, if you go back and you look, like BVS looks more like a Zack Snyder movie because you have Larry Fong back as his DP, who did every other Zack Snyder movie but Man of Steel. And he's not doing the handheld camera like he did for Man of Steel. He's back to more of his usual camera style. But he has the same costumer and that he did for Watchmen. So BVS looks very much in line with Watchmen.
Yeah.
But you don't see people comparing that as much, as you're seeing people talk about, Superman's suit looks like the Guardians or, stuff. Well, it's the same costumer. Okay. And you just have this thing when you have a director work with the same crew and people. So that's my rant, but all right. So now we're going to get in some comics. What you want to bring up first, James?
I don't know where you want to start. We got one issue of Superman. We got a couple of action. We've got the summer.
Let's kick off and start, since it was Superman Day and this was released right before Superman Day. Let's start with the Superman special, the summer special. This, it is weird to say summer when it's
summer of Superman special,
which it's April, which is weird because when you're a movie person, you think okay, summer, May, that's when summer movie season kicks off, but it's just saying Summer of Superman. But all right, let's get into this. What you got for us, Mr. Cole?
So what I got for us? So when we start with chapter 1, we've got Clark and Lana back in Smallville years ago, and from his internal here, we've got him talking about how much he loves Lana, basically how great she is around town. She's liked by everybody. She helps everybody. And then he sees and hears stuff, something happening, and we've got I just read his name earlier. What is his name? Validus.
Yeah, I was like
Validus. Yeah. So Validus is in Smallville. He's attacking. And at this point he is Superboy with Crypto, and he knows that he went to the future with the Legion. But he does discuss, because he starts tumbling through the time stream fighting Validus. And we get to see images through time about his future. Some different images, got Doomsday and his partnering up with Batman, or him befriending Batman, and then he sees Lois and John. He sees his future, and kind of freaks out that it's not Lana. Basically, is how I took that, because that's what is on his mind at the moment.
Yeah, it sets up where he's going to tell Lana everything, because he's at like 16 and Lana is his best friend crush, and
Mm-hmm.
and
but he does talk about how he has a psychic block in his head that will stop him from being able to remember any facts about future timeline. So
which is pretty cool. But when he drops back, to regular time, he's like, he goes to pick back up with Lana, and he's talking about how he feels sick, and he can't. There's something he feels
he's in a funk.
Yeah, and I've already seen people on the internet be like, "Oh, are they trying to say that Clark's true love was always Lana, and this ruined it?" I'm like, "Oh my god, people!"
Really?
Yeah, I'm just like,
no, Lana is his first love.
Right. I've always said,
man, true love.
Lana represents like the best friend aspect of the relationship, and then Smallville, the show, especially in the first season, you put Lois and Chloe together, or Lana and Chloe together, that's where you get your Lois.
Absolutely. And then we end chapter 1 where they are in Smallville, and Smallville's sweetheart is finally about to get the day she deserves, her wedding day to John Henry Irons. Chapter 2, they're setting up for the wedding, and Pa Kent is saying that his knee is saying they're going to have a bad storm, and meteorologists are saying that's just not going to happen. Lana is a little freaking out about, every time something important is happening, something bad happens. And, Clark tells her that, marrying Lois was the best thing he ever did. Best thing that ever happened to him. And that is the life, And the sky cracks open, and Validus is back. Validus has returned to the same spot at a different time, and this it's like moments to Validus. Like, he comes out of the The time stream, yeah. Basically, like from the last time he met Superman. So, like, it's been years for Clark, but it's only been minutes for Validus. They're fighting. They get him out of Smallville, and some tornadoes happen. A bunch of storms kick up, and you've got everybody, John, Lois, and Lana, rescuing everybody, saving everybody from the storms, while Superman is fighting Validus. Pa gets thrown by a tornado, but Lois is there to save him. And then Validus is pulled back into the time stream. There's been a lot of damage, but no loss of life. They saved everybody. You got a lot of people there, though. A lot of supers.
Mm-hmm.
Along with John Henry Irons and Natalie. But Lana takes Clark's advice, and she's marrying John today, right here, right now. They are going to kind of clean up and set up and have the wedding. Chapter 3 is they get married.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, they get married. It's all talking about how all of these moments with friends and with family and friends, they matter the most because there's always work to be done. And it's these moments that show me how much of my life can be unpredictable most of the time. So they talk about this is where they are with Mr. Terrific and Omen from our from our Power Girl books.
Yep.
And they bring a device which pulls Validus out of the time stream and kind of get into a fight with him while Omen is probing his mind because John, Martian Manhunter, still does not have his powers back from when Amanda Waller stole them back in Absolute Power.
And they make Mr. Terrific makes a comment about like this anomaly, what do you call it? That's set around that it could be potentially because of Clark's ship crashing there built this anomaly.
Which, in my opinion, ties in to what we see coming up later. But it ties back to when they started discussing this all in, where Superman is kind of your central point, your central point of good in the main timeline, as Darkseid is the central point of inevitable kind of evil in the absolute universe that spawned from him. Because we know that Mr. Terrific has been the one who has been investigating this other Earth. This other, I forget what they call it. It's been a while since I read that.
Don't they just call it the Elseworld?
The Elseworld. That is that. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. They do just call it the Elseworld.
And that's where we pick up with, and like the last half of this, where we see,
well, just before we leave Smallville here, Omen does tell them that he was not there to attack Clark. He was not there to attack Superman. That he's on the run. That Validus is scared.
Yeah, his mind was chaos.
But you were talking the last part here.
We see like Lightning Lad and why am I yawning? A couple of the other people from like the Legion. And
yeah, they look like Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, and I'm guessing Rock, probably your primary three that are usually together.
But it's basically the Dark Side Legion from the Elseworld. And we see that they have Booster Gold as their prisoner.
Yeah, we get a text box. I hoped Validus escaping into the past would have set off some red flags for Superman. That it would warn my buddies back home about what was coming for them. That I survived, but just barely. They would send backup and save the day. I guess I was wrong. I thought that even if I knew what the future was, we still had hope for a better one. But I learned that some people have a different idea of what a better future means. And that's where we have Lightning Lad torturing Validus and Booster Gold chained up in front of an Omega symbol. He says Superman needs to know that the future is already lost. And it's to be continued through the summer of Superman, through Action Comics, Superman, and Superman Unlimited. Along with Supergirl getting her own title.
Which is nice.
Coming out.
Supergirl back on her own book.
Mm-hmm. Crypto's getting a limited mini series.
Of course he is.
And then Adventures of Superman, Book of L is a new maxi series coming out.
Yeah, it's the one from Philip Kennedy Johnson, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we're also getting the one from Dan Slott, the Superman Unlimited or something about the whole world having kryptonite weapons, basically. So
yeah, the one from Dan Slott. Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting. Gonna be good.
Yeah, 12 issues. I'm looking forward to that Philip Kennedy Johnson Book of L. We really liked his War World saga, and he had some interesting characters from like lineage down over generations in some stories, so it'll be interesting.
Okay. So I'm going to bring up here real quick. I asked you about this one before because this was a special that kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm trying to get it back here, but Sailor's been playing on my iPad and got all kinds of crap open. Hold on. It's Shazam number 20, which was like a kind of medium episode, or not episode, a medium. But it was right after they finished an arc. And it says Shazam and the Misadventures of Superman John Kent. And basically, you have the Shazam family, and Billy yells Shazam as John Kent's flying over, and the lightning crosses through John Kent. And it turns him back into a kid. And through the whole episode, it's John as a boy again, hanging out with the Captain and Mary Marvel. And he still has his powers, but he's doing kid stuff. And he's hanging with the kids. You know, Jay tries to call him. He doesn't answer. He even has his old costume, and he goes and sees Damian. And I feel like it's weird because they never quite pinpoint how old Damian is, because they always make him like just slightly older than John or just slightly younger than John, depending on what age they put John at. And then he hangs out with Billy. Like I said, he was hanging out with Billy and the kids. And basically they realize, like, he talks about like losing his childhood and his life as an adult and what he missed. And Jay shows up at the end, meets him, and then basically just asks John, has he thought about saying Shazam? And John says Shazam. He turns back into an adult. And then it ends with John flying out Jay. And I really enjoyed it, but I was like, man, this is a deep issue. Like this should be like 2 issues and really explore. Like it should have been a whole super like crossover and really got into more of the meat that we've talked about with John Kent losing his childhood. Because let's face it, the twins have disappeared from comics.
Yeah, they were really they were in the Summer of Superman special, but literally in the background at the apartment, because you don't go back that often to the apartment anymore, where
Yep,
everybody always is.
Yep, don't want to talk about them. You know, those are it's like those characters. You know, Philip Henry Johnson created them, and nobody wants to deal with them. But I think this could have been a really good, bigger deal of an issue, and really tapped into the themes about John and what's he dealing with, and the loss, like I said, of his childhood that still kind of haunts him and bothers him.
Well, he spent all his childhood in a volcano on
Exactly.
Earth 3.
Being
Well,
tortured.
his entire teenage years on. Yeah.
So I just I feel like they could have mined that story a little bit more and had him show back up to his parents' house like as a kid, and that was like the cliffhanger. So but it was really good. I recommend it. All right. What do you want to do next? Superman 23?
Yeah, let's go Superman 23.
So I'm really digging this Superman current arc. And I feel like it's been too long. Did we talk about this one? I didn't think we did.
Not 23. 22 we did, but we have not talked about 23. Williamson's doing a pretty good job with Time Trapper here. And
he's got to be wrapping this up soon, because I feel like with the Summer of Superman stuff, like it feels like this storyline's gonna be ending.
Yeah.
Considering
what issue is this with what issue is this with Time Trapper? 3 or 4 issues in a row?
Yeah. But it's the Time Trapper Doomsday is, presenting Lois. There is like a blast coming towards Jimmy and Siobhan, and Lois is talking to him, and basically Clark has high blood pressure, shooting out, turning red. And she smacks him away, and she goes to save Jimmy, and she doesn't quite save Jimmy. And Clark's fighting what they call it, Radiant, the leader of that collective.
Yeah. Yep. Radiant from the planet where Doomsday was killed and sent across the stars in the burial suit to Earth.
So Clark is taking it out, his anger, and the Time Trapper's like, perhaps I've chosen the wrong champion. And Clark's like, what have you done? And he's, give me your rage. So Radiant's fighting Doomsday. Meanwhile, Lena and Lex are working on something. I won't say what just yet. And then we see like the super family. We see Lana, Lois, Kara, and everyone like in the city doing their odds and ends stuff. Then Lex shows up with a big old gun, and there's Mercy.
Yep, tells them to get Doomsday and Radiant in the sky and draw them away from civilians.
And Time Trapper Doomsday says, remember, Superwoman, this is only the beginning. Time is on my side. And Lex fires his awesome giant big weapon. And what does he do with all of them?
He bottles up Radiant, his entire army, his ship and everything, and Doomsday, and he contains them into a bottle. He says, if Brainiac's bottles can hold Kryptonians and Zarnians, they can hold Doomsday.
Booyah. This one was going to say booyah.
Yeah. I think that's really cool, though, you know.
And then it is really cool. It's smart because it's like usually like what do I always joke about? Like, oh, if I'm fighting Doomsday, what am I doing?
Right.
Send him to the Phantom Zone. Well, now they just shrunk him and bottled him.
Yeah, and the bottles are, you know, indestructible. Like even when Kryptonians have their powers inside, there's nothing they can do. But he traps them in. He traps Doomsday in with Radiant and his army. Lex says time is slowed inside the Bottle City, and Mercy says if Doomsday dies because of time slowing down, who knows what kind of powers he'd resurrect with. Could be the beginning of the Time Trapper, you know. And Lena shows up and she says, "Stop! How can you be arguing? How can you still argue about this now?" Because Superman and Lex are kind of discussing it. There's always a cost. Superman says, "This was a mistake." He says, "What other options did we have? I saved us." He says, "But at what cost?" He says, "There's always a cost. You know that." And it's true. Superman does know that. There is always a cost with everything that Superman does, as there is always a cost with something that Lex does. But just because it's Lex, he questions the cost.
Yeah, it is. Like this, like we read the Lex special just recently, and I kind of wish. I don't know. I like where this is with Lex right here. Like I hate that I feel like they're bringing it to an end to return Lex more to the status quo. I would have liked this arc to go a little bit longer.
I hope that he doesn't necessarily go to the status quo. I understand that he got his memories back. But before he got his memories back, he made the decision that he doesn't want to be that person. So are the memories going to make him that person? If he chooses to make that difference.
We were having that discussion about the memories being what make us who we are.
Right.
But then we see that Jimmy's hurt. Siobhan's by his side in a hospital bed.
Yeah. I think, you know, also, but if you get a chance to have a clean slate and start to make new memories, is that going to change your outlook even if you gain your old memories back? You know what I mean? Actually living with a clean slate. I forget.
we had to pause for a second, but Jimmy's in the hospital.
Yeah, let's just pick up where we were in the issue. I forget exactly what I was saying, but we can drop right back in.
Yeah, he's hurt. Jimmy's in the hospital. They say, "Where's Lois?" Clark says she got hung up, and there's Lois floating above, and she's telling Clark, "You should go in, honey." Says, "I treated these powers like it was all fun and games, but it's not. And Jimmy got hurt because of that. I felt these things before too. We can train more, spend more time with the powers." She says, "It's not that, Superman. I think we hear, hey, and it's your fault." And it's Silver Banshee screaming. And basically, Lois is trying to, Siobhan, she's like, "Don't. Supercorp has been protecting your identity, so you must be someone special, but I don't care who you are. Just know this, you have your first arch enemy." And Lois says, "For the first time," Superman's Clark, "for the first time in my life, I'm afraid of the future." And then we go to Zod learning his powers are completely gone. And he's on some ship.
Yeah, he's trying to find his powers. He's on a ship. His powers are completely gone. He says, "You haven't been near a yellow sun in some times. Perhaps we need to get you back under one to recharge, but that journey will take some time. And he says, no one can know. He says, the doctor says, your secret is safe with me, my lord. Of course, and I do not need the last son of Krypton's powers to ensure it. And he smashes his head and kills him. And we arrive at the end of time, where Time Trapper is saying, Superman, come to me. You were right. Even your past self refused my offer. So that's interesting that Superman is at the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
But don't any of you know what is at stake? Time is not written in stone here. We can still change it. You will see how much worse things get once Darkseid returns, and then come crawling to me for help as he gets struck with lightning. Anyone but you. And they say, you messed up, Time Trapper. You tried to work with the wrong side. We'll give you what you want. But first, I will rip from your mind everything you know about this Superman. So that kind of leads me, to believe that is obviously Saturn Girl.
Yeah, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, and it's the Legionnaires from the Apocalypse, the Elseworld.
Yes, from the Elseworld, which we saw at the end of the Superman special.
Which is cool in one way, but another way is I don't want the Elseworld and the regular to cross over, like the Absolute Universe to cross over with it yet. I kind of want it to just be separate and let the Absolute Universe grow for a while.
Right.
Like I just read Absolute Flash and it was pretty good. But I don't judge the type by one issue. Like I need to read
the first arc.
Yeah.
To feel how it's shaping up.
Or at least a few issues, Okay. Yeah. So we have Action Comics 1083 and 1084. So did you read these?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So going back to the beginning here. Basically, where we left off with what's his face? Major Disaster, right?
Major Disaster, I believe. And
so Superman is all busted up. He's in the Batcave. He says, I was attacked by some random mugger. He says, clearly you won't. So Clark starts putting his skills to better use, trying to figure out who attacked him. He goes and visits Atomic Skull. And basically they're losing hope. And then, of course, Superman flies out to the yellow sun, stands in front of it to heal. And then he goes and visits Aubrey, who looks like Azazel from Marvel. And basically, she takes him to meet Bruno Mannheim on this interdimensional type plane. And Aubrey is Scorch. And she says, it's the same deal as Major Disaster and Atomic Skull. And Bruno Mannheim is basically selling their power, their mind, their ability, their soul kind of thing, their hope in them.
Yeah, they call them telomeres, and he says these little pieces of DNA at the end of chromosomes. The more you have, the younger you remain.
Yes, and they're selling him to this group that comes showing up at the end of the book. And I'll be honest, I was not digging this arc at all. I was kind of just like, this is kind of filler until this last issue. This last issue just made me go, yeah.
1084 or yes. The 1083? Okay.
1084.
Yeah.
The Force Major finale.
Yeah, Force Majeure finale.
Yeah. Where he meets they call themselves the Forevers, isn't it?
Yes. I believe that's what they call themselves.
They just look like jumbled together characters like Egyptian.
Yeah, I mean they look almost like they an interesting or a different version of the Black Order.
Yeah, that makes sense. And basically, they're the ones that are getting these, that are working with Mannheim, which is so random. But Superman begins fighting them, and then Scorch actually ends up. She says, "Bruno, go to hell. Like, seriously, go to hell." And she opens a portal, and Superman helps fight and throws the Forevers in there. And where did you send them? He says to her. She says, somewhere unpleasant, really unpleasant. Think of the most unpleasant place you've ever been. Multiply it by 1,000, you'd be halfway there. So that's hardcore. But this is where the book turns, and he says, Aubrey, right now things for you are bad, and whether they get better or worse depends on you telling me the truth. I can't tell you. He says, Aubrey. She says, I can't, but there's someone who can. We go to Macoop Lake, Ontario, Canada. We meet Penny. And Penny is Major Force's daughter.
Yes,
and
she
basically
is Penny Booker, Paul Booker's daughter, who is.
And she says, I always thought it was
Disaster.
ironic. She says, I always thought it was ironic that Major Disaster, Dad's been a major blank disaster from day one. Always drunk, always angry, always absent. And then he got superpowers and he was still always drunk, angry, absent, but he could make earthquakes and tsunamis. Couldn't even do that right. So I start acting out, trying to get attention from him. End up developing my own powers, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe if we can be good together, we can be bad together. And then we see him like basically, dream on, Penny. I'm Major Disaster. I ain't teaming up with nobodies. And she says, I don't know. Maybe it's his way of scaring me out of the life. But then he went through this conversion thing with you, Superman, and he fronted like he was a changed man. But he was always the same. Same as everything. He used to being a hero as an excuse for not having to deal with me or Mom. He was on patrol with the Justice League. Got to the point I was so over him one day I just got up in his face. Told him until he learned to be a man, I didn't want him around. I didn't need him. I know I'm reading a lot, but oh well. But basically, she gets accepted she finds out how he's getting money and all this, and something he's doing, and she follows him. So she says, I started tracking my dad because he was actually making money and taking care of things, and saw this other guy with Scorch, and that was Max Boykin. She says, Boykin gets right up in my face and starts screaming at her. And like he's screaming in her face, he's ripping her dad apart. And she says, I wanted him to shut up. That's all. I just wanted him to. She screams, shut up, and triggers her. And she basically uses her powers and blows a huge piece of concrete that smashes and kills him. And she starts, oh my God, what did I do? Dad. And he just says, Aubrey, take Penny. And then we see that's when Major Disaster starts freaking out and breaking buildings. And he basically says, I'm going to do the only thing I'm ever good at. And that's when we get the panel Superman show. He says, letting the world think I'm a piece of.
Yeah.
And basically he took the blame and everything for his daughter.
Yeah.
And it said, and you know, this is a really good, like, this is why I actually ended up liking this arc. It's not only because of the sacrifice from the dad, but just Paul gave Penny a second chance. Please don't take that away. The only thing Paul Booker has left is trying to make things right with his daughter. And then we have the Superman voiceover with, it's supposed to be truth and justice. And he's talking to Lois, not truth or justice. Clark Kent running a story about how Penny Booker killed a man. Is that truth? Not sure it brings justice.
It's the truth, not sure it brings justice. Yeah.
What do you call it when Penny's walking free? She's not going without punishment. The Titans are making sure of that. While her father gets to sit in jail, Paul literally had his hope taken from him. Sitting in jail gives him a purpose and her a second chance. You're going to tell me that is equal to justice? And Superman says, can't tell you anything. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Is this dark days again? I wish it was dark. In the harsh white light of the day, all I see is badness. Don't let the forever steal your hope. Sometimes your greatest strength is being able to give a damn when nobody else does. Lucky me. No, lucky us. And then she says, the world, please remember, if nothing else, remember truth, justice, more than ever, we need them. More than ever, we need Superman. So I thought that was a really good way to end that story, where you kind of subvert what you with Paul and just with that run, you know, because like I said, I wasn't really digging it till that, and then having that conversation between them, I was like, that's really good.
Right. It's almost as though like the entire point was this right here. But he needed some way to get to this. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was worth it. You know, we have so many stories that start really good and have a couple of really good issues and then rush to the end, you know?
Yep.
And this one, not sure where it's going, you know, and it builds and it builds and it builds to a really great ending.
So, alrighty. So while we took our quick break, I was able to find one of those posters I was talking about that was released that wasn't on my Superman Day slides. And I'm going to pull that up for us now, because that's what I do. But here we go. Add to stage. There's one of the cover arts by Raphael Albuquerque.
Nice.
So that's cool. Oh, wait, that was cool. How did I do that? And then here's the poster.
Yeah, that poster.
So it just says Superman. It has him. It's pretty cool. Like, it's him, but it looks almost like it's through the filter of like a newspaper. Like it was printed on newspaper or something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it has this grain to it. It looks kind of cool, but I really want the look up poster. But I don't want to pay $15 for it from DC Direct. And then there's this shot that was put up. It shows Perry, Ron Troop, Lois, and Cat Grant.
Yes.
And that looks like it might be Lombard in the back.
Yep.
So
that's what I would guess.
So yeah, excited.
Man, 3 months.
I know. And
we're getting so close. I haven't been so excited for a new suit. I've been excited to be able to go see a solo Superman movie in over a decade. So
I know,
I'm really excited about that.
It's
Whether,
so
no matter the movie, how I feel about things being seen, although I'm hopeful about about everything that we've seen. So, yeah, absolutely.
I am hopeful. I'm excited. I am, I have 1 month until we start casting for our Superman musical. So I'm excited for that. Just a lot of good stuff, So
it's a great year.
All right.
Superman wise.
Yeah, it is. So until next time, check us out. Remember, hey, that's always how I end the show, but yeah, check out our social medias, send us an email, message, whatever. Your thoughts, what are you thinking about the new film? Are you positive? Are you not? My thing is, I'm going to be positive. There's no point in being negative. I'm tired of all the negativity and hate. Like, we both loved Henry Cavill. Would we like to have seen more? Yes. But that's not what's happening.
For sure.
Just like, when Brandon Routh got replaced with Henry Cavill, basically, it's the nature of the beast. We can't control it. And we're just going to roll with the character, tired of the haters, we don't need the hate. Superman's not about hate. So you're not really a Superman fan if you're hating.
Yep.
So that's my final word. So remember.
Look up in the sky.
I am Brian Peters, the creator and host of Gravely Amusing. For the past 30 years, I've studied the history of gods and monsters in pop culture and our world. As a student of theology and history, I've tried to understand evil and its impact on us. As a writer, I've tried to share this knowledge. As a comedian, I've tried to make people laugh as I do it. But as a man-child, I'm still that scared 7-year-old boy. Join me as I share the history of horror and sci-fi, discuss classic and modern pop culture, and share a creepy story or two. This podcast may scare you, it may horrify you, or it may leave you gravely amused. Listen to Gravely Amusing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Twitter at gravely_amusing or on TikTok at gravely amusing.